I have been thinking about this country of ours, Kenya, and what will happen in the next 10 years. And I really sympathize with the young generation. Anybody below 25 years or any Gen Z and below, they're going to face the hardest times in future. Now, where people grew up during the time of Moi, Kibaki, and Uhuru, and everyone who grew during that time will say that during the time of Kibaki, life was good. Even getting a job was very easy. Just go and send blind application and get a job. Sometimes you used to, for example, my first job, where I got it, I went online, I searched for HR addresses. I went one evening and sent blind application. So after doing that, I waited. 1 week later, I received a call and I was invited for an interview. And we were around 15 of us in that interview. All of them got that job. And everyone had sent blind application. That's how easy it was to get a job. The second job I got it through graduate trainee, and it was very easy. The bank was hiring, I applied, we did aptitude test. From there, the job was there. The third one was even easier. So that's how things were easy during that time. But later on, when Uhuru came, life started becoming difficult. But it was not so much difficult. At least we afforded this and that. Then Ruto came, and now is the president. Now, there are some things you can see, parameters that will show you the future is not all bright. There is this issue of goonism that is going on. You remember when Boda were introduced, people joined the industry to make money. And now it has reached a time Boda are not used to ferry customers, but for snatching smartphones, taking robbers to their targets, and used for goonism. That is their work. Now, this Boda industry in the villages, any boy, any student who feels like I don't want to continue with school, they join Boda. They go maybe sell a cow, or they sell land and buy Boda. Then once they put it there in the stage to carry passenger, they realize there are 50 other Bodas doing the job, and customers in that area are 100. So how can they distribute to these customers? So they end up feeling that they're wasting themselves, because today you'll make 200 shillings, tomorrow 100, the following day 50 bob. So that's why you find majority of them decide to use for other things. They go to steal so that they can supplement their income. Most of them, especially these ones, 20 years, 21 years, once they buy a Boda, they automatically go and marry. And once you get married and you have a child, you have to feed them. And that's why life becomes so unbearable. And they end up using them to steal and to be used as goons. We also have another sector of mjengo. This mjengo is something that we did not fancy during our time. But now it is something that the government is glorifying. And mjengo is something that pays 600 shillings to 1,000 per day. 1,000 is paid to foreman or supervisor, those wakubwa. But these ones, the other ones who are doing this other hard jobs, they are paid 600 shillings. Now tell me, 600 shillings, how can you distribute that money, invest, save, and pay your bills, even buy lunch? It is hard. That is the work that the government is glorifying. You also have the work of a maid. Nowadays, government glorifies that a lot. Maid and even going to Gulf. Those are not jobs that you can fancy. They're not good. So eventually you realize those jobs you used to take, how to do, like going to the office, decent jobs where you are paid starting salary maybe 60,000 and you are assured you will be there for several years. They are not there. People are finishing schools and they are not able to get those jobs. They are not there. So it means in future, it is not going to be rosy as we think. And now, there's something that is also happening. Those ones who were creating content 10 years ago, let's say from 2022 there back, you can testify. Money was good, even on YouTube. Could post a video, get 1 million views, and earn 500,000 Kenya shillings and above. But it reached a point where the money started reducing, such that even if you have a video of 1 million views, you cannot make more than 200,000 shillings. Now people are blaming YouTube, but the problem is not for YouTube. The problem is the Kenyan government and the economy. Most companies in Kenya are not making enough profit or more profits than they were making before. So when companies are straining, they reduce the budget for advertising. So that's why in Kenya, you have, we used to have companies like Jumia, which used to market. And when you saw an advert for Jumia, you know this is money. But now, they don't have that money for marketing. And now, if you are on a YouTube channel, you'll only see very few adverts. You are lucky if you get views from the US, Canada, Australia, UK, all those countries in Europe, because there are more adverts there. That's when you can earn. We have the Gen Zs who depend on online work. And let me bring bad news. This online work is not something you can depend on 100% forever. It keeps on evolving. Right now, YouTube is making money. TikTok is making money. Facebook. It will reach a time when other things will come. Even if you have huge following on those platforms, you find you're not making money, or you become irrelevant. In you might become irrelevant. And I've seen many. There's a guy who had 1 million, around 600,000 subscribers, and he became irrelevant. He used to post videos and get 1 million views, 2 million views. And now he posts a video, 600 views, 1,000 views, like us who don't have followers or subscribers. That is what happens. You cannot be relevant all the time. Even your subscribers sometimes move on. So those ones, guys who are Gen Zs and those who depend entirely on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube for income, things change. Things change. And that's why I say in the next 10 years, Kenya will not be the same as it used to be. You see, things are like land, housing, and everything are becoming more expensive each day. Rent for 1 bedroom used to be, I remember around 2010, it used to be 7,000, 5,000, but now it's 15,000 and above. Yet, there are no jobs. Very few jobs can sustain that amount every month. And those ones who are depending on these online platforms to earn revenue, over time they'll become irrelevant, incomes will reduce, and we are going to see people very desperate. And also, when it comes to farming, I understand the young generation don't want to do farming. This is something that could help them. They don't like that. They say that is for all the people. They don't want to do that. And I also realized they do things differently. They want to live now, enjoy now. If someone makes 50,000, they want to consume all that money. They don't invest at all. And you tell me in the next 10 years what will happen to them. Because someone who is 25 years will be 35 years. Someone who is 30 years will be 40 years. There are things that start making sense when you reach 40s. Like having your own money which you have saved somewhere, having your house, and any investment. Because in your 20s, you are not sensitive to those things because you are under maybe your parents. If you become broke, you'll give a call and they send you something. Now, over time, you might lose your parents, or they retire, or they become broke. So you remain alone. Something that you have saved will help you. And the more you grow, the more bills. So you find you need your own money. So in future, I don't see whether people who are now growing will have a good future, because you can even see the government is paying around 81% of the revenues we collect. They use to settle debts. You have external and internal debts. In Kenya, they majorly borrow from banks, and they borrowed more than 7.2 trillion. And from outside, external is more than 5.5 trillion. So they have to pay all that so that at least they can develop something. But now, if they're paying 81%, the remaining is used to pay workers and nothing is remaining for development, which is very sad. So if you are in that position, what will happen in future? And I'm very sure in the next few years, even 2 years, we are not going to borrow more. Then the economy might even collapse. So that's why when I started this video, I said, I really sympathize with this coming generation because most of them don't see that. It will be a very depressed generation without investment. And thank God if you have a parents who have built a home for you, who have invested at least. In future, you'll have something. But if you have parents who have not invested anything, you better prepare for the worst in future. It is not going to be easy at all. Even the government, it's only that they can tell you, they cannot tell you, but there are signs. So that is what I'm saying. And if you are a Gen Z, if you have made some money, don't follow advice from other Gen Zs. They cannot see. There's one thing I used to tell even we used to, when we were in our 20s, to see people were investing in Safaricom. That time, Safaricom shares, there was a time, was it around 2010 to 2009 there? Safaricom share was 2.5 shillings, Kenyan shillings at that time. So there's someone who invested, a friend who invested 50,000 Kenyan shillings. And he told me to invest also. I did not see any sense. He kept on investing. And right now, I don't even want to meet him. It is because I was ignorant. So when we tell you to invest at this time, if you see land that is going for even 200,000, just buy. Buy. There are places now you will go and you might think it's not accessible. This land will not be useful, but you don't know what will come 10 years from now. Even Joska, even Ruiru used to be a forest, but now it is very valuable. So don't follow the advice of others. Just invest.